Good morning, everybody. It's so wonderful to see everybody here in the room today for our very enriching discussion that we're about to have, and welcome to those of our colleagues who are tuning in on Facebook Live. We're delighted to have you with us in a virtual capacity this morning. This is the third edition of our MWF Live speaker series, where each week we will be hearing from 4 or 5 of our Mandela Washington Fellows who are with us this summer for a 6-week Civic Leadership Institute sponsored by the U.S. Department of State. And each week, our fellows will be sharing their ideas and their perspectives and thoughts and work that they're doing in their countries to create positive change. The Presidential Precinct is a Charlottesville-based nonprofit organization that's a partnership among the University of Virginia, William & Mary, James Monroe's Highland, James Madison's Montpelier, Thomas Jefferson's Monticello, and beautiful Morven Farm. And together we engage and inspire the next generation of emerging leaders to tackle the biggest challenges facing their countries. And we're coming to you today from James Monroe's Highland. Thank you so much to our colleagues from Highland for hosting us today. We're delighted to be here with you. The topic of our MWF Live panel today is empowering the next generation of global leaders. So we'll hear from these established rising leaders about how to instill a sense of civic engagement and purpose and mission in the younger generation. How do we bring the younger generation along? How do we pass the torch for positive change in all of our countries? So I'll start by introducing our facilitator, and then I will let him take it from here. Today our facilitator is Johan Ducharme. He's serving as a summer program fellow in our Mandela Washington Fellowship here in summer 2018. He's currently pursuing a PhD in educational leadership and policy at William & Mary, and he has over a decade of experience in global leadership development. So with that, I will put you in the hands of Johan and our panelists.
Thank you so much, Nancy. It is a true pleasure to be here. Thank you, Highland, for having us. We have some very special leaders here, and I'd like them to take just a minute to introduce themselves.
Thank you so much, Johan, about that. My name is Nombuso Mabuza. I'm from Swaziland. I'm a teacher there, and I also run a girls' empowerment club in a rural community in Swaziland. I'm also part of Glow Swaziland, which is a girls' empowerment club, which teaches young girls to see themselves as emerging leaders in Swaziland. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Johan. I'm Siba Koulemou from Guinea. I'm a teacher also. I am the president of ASTAG, American Study Teachers Association in Guinea. I'm also the co-founder of CELATI, a center in charge of teaching young guys English and computing in Guinea. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Johanna and Nancy. I am Tsehaynew Adama from Ethiopia, manager and founder of Association of Education and Training Service for Persons with Disability. I am a visionary blind.
Thank you, Johan. My name is Nozipho Dlali. I am an attorney. I run my own law firm, but I'm also a member of a global network and movement of young active citizens, over 200,000 all over the globe. And I am the 2018 current National Vice President in JCI South Africa.
Thank you very much. My name is Modu. I'm an activist advocating for transparency and accountability. I work with Connected Development. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, we are talking about empowering the next generation of leaders. And so my first question to all the panelists is, why are we talking about this topic of empowering young leaders? Why does this topic matter today? Here in the United States, we're currently having a real youth empowerment movement, specifically within the political process. So what does the youth empowerment and the youth movement look like in your countries? And this is to all the panelists.
Thank you very much. Youth are leaders, not leaders of tomorrow. When we are kids, when we are in secondary school, primary school, tertiary institution, our parents and teachers used to call us leaders of tomorrow. After graduation, leaders of tomorrow. Starting jobs, leaders of tomorrow. When will be this tomorrow? I used to ask this myself and other people this question. When will be this tomorrow? Tomorrow is now. Youth are backbone of every society. A slight problem to a backbone will cause a society to collapse. Youth need to be empowered. I work with Connected Development. Connected Development is a non-governmental organization whose mission to empower young people and to engage young people in promoting transparency and accountability in their communities. We work in the rural communities where we engage young people to advocate for transparency and accountability by providing them with information, tools, and techniques to hold their government accountable for their spending. We started with less than 10 volunteers in 2013. In 2018, we have more than 1,800 online volunteers. We have more than 800 offline volunteers. In Nigeria, we have more than 70% young population. We need young to be engaged in every aspect of human life, private sectors, government, civic space, because youth are doing incredible work in all the aspects of human endeavor. We need you to be engaged. We need to create a platform for young people to be able to meet their potential. Thank you.
Thanks for the question, Johan. We recognize that young people want to be involved in creating solutions in their communities, in their countries, and in the continent. The challenge that we also recognized was that there's no platform or tool for them to be able to do so. So when we talk about empowerment, we are basically talking about creating a platform for young people to be able to create positive change or contribute positively in their communities. And why does it matter? It matters because we recognize that it's our responsibility as young people to create a better world. And we want to drive that change.
Okay. As a leader, I'm trying to take my share in my country because leaders have great responsibility to change in a country as well as to the world. So when I had in early grade, I started to make influence on politicians or in private organization by advocating the right of persons with disability as individual in my country. When I had in the higher college, I engaged in one volunteer activities. I was the founder and the coordinator in the college, which helps to read for blindness, and also I was founder and chairman of Union Association of Persons with Disability. So by using this union, I try to challenge the government officials, the politicians, and private organizations to take our share and to be benefit on the right of persons with disability in my country.
Thank you very much, Juan, for this wonderful question. Before I start, I just would like to ask a sort of question to all leaders around the world. What will be a nation without youth? What will be a nation without its youth? Do we want to keep the country running, or do we want to stop after us? Do we stop the country? These are the questions that we should answer, each one of us. In my country, more especially, youth empowerment is another problem because youth faces a lot of situations, a lot of problems. One, unemployment. Secondly, lack of quality education. Third, manipulation. Because of lack of this quality education, each political leader can do what they want to do with our youth, with our young generation, forgetting about the future. The future of the country lies on the hand of youth. So today, it is important and relevant to talk about this matter. It is important that we talk everywhere so that tomorrow, those who will be leading tomorrow, be aware of challenges of what to do in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you about that. I believe that we are empowering the youth because, like my colleagues have just said, the youth is the backbone of the nation. They have the power to change their lives and also to change the communities as well as the world. So I believe that it is important for us to educate the young people so that they can be able to be strong and not fall into HIV and AIDS, drug abuse, and maybe leave school, which is what is happening in our country. Thank you.
Those are great responses. Thank you for sharing what's happening in your countries. The next question I have is going to be for Siba and Nombuso to my left here. You both work as teachers in the classroom. What inspired you to be a teacher, and what motivates you in the work to work with the youth in your country day in and day out? And from your perspective, what gives you hope?
Thank you, Johan, for that. In my country, I wanted to make a difference. I believe that teachers are mentors and role models, and they do that every day of their lives. And that is what I wanted to do in Swaziland. And also, what gives me hope is that I know that young girls out there are able and can do better things in their societies. And I love the fact that I've seen a lot of young women taking charge and actually changing their lives. We've had 2 girls who have come to the United States of America in our club, and that gives me hope that actually we can change the world with girls.
I do agree with you, Nombuso. In addition to what she has just said, I just want to underline one of the important factors. My inspiration to become a teacher came from 2 great African leaders, Jomo Kenyatta. He said, education is a light of a nation. If we want to have a successful nation, we should make sure to involve in education. Every good thing we want to have in a country should pass through education. So, I know today is not bright in my country. We have a lot of problems, political problems, social problems, this one. But I know by teaching, by helping this young generation, tomorrow will be brighter than today. I know that today I will not just sit down, cross my arm and see this problem. The best way to see tomorrow brighter is to engage myself in this young empowerment, to help them be who they want to be, to help them know the challenge which is facing them tomorrow. And then, in that case, we together should put hand, not only the job of a teacher like me, father, mother, brother, even all of us has something to say. So it is important to empower a young generation. Thank you very much.
So for this next question, I'm going to ask it of Tsehaynew, Nozipho, and Muazu. You all serve as leaders and mobilizers, empowering young active citizens to be civic leaders in your community. So what has been your experience working with the youth in your countries? Can you tell us a little bit more about the organizations you founded or were elected to? And what specific strategies are you using to empower youth? And what have you found works?
Thank you. I have different experiences in my country. When I had in early grade, I founded one anti-HIV/AIDS and reproductive clubs, and I managed there. I served a lot of activities to persons with disability, and not only for persons with disability. In the town, there is one youth association. In this association, it has more than 4,000 users. So in the association, I had vice president of the town and also vice president of the sub-city of the Wolaita Sodo, which is found in South Ethiopia. When I come to the higher education, I had a coordinator of volunteers readers for blindness. When I had in the college, including 6 friends, we had blindness in the college, and we faced a lot of problems. They had no any braille, they had no any audio materials. So to solve this problem, I tried to organize this volunteers club, and I wrote announcement for volunteers in the college. Then 700 candidates, graduate students joined to our volunteers, and they start to serve me. Now we graduate, and we are serving as in community in different levels. So when I come to current situation, I'm a manager and founder of Charity Association of Education and Training Service for Persons with Disability in South Ethiopia, and a vice president of Union of Association of Disability in South Ethiopia. Around 7 associations organized in together to challenge remove our challenges together. So I'm a vice president there on the last 3 years. My strategy to use this, I believe in negotiation and lobbying more than using law enforcement, because we can, if we approach on love, we can win all things. But if we go to the law enforcement, maybe the government official can give appointment. They doesn't say no, but they will be Mr. Tsehaynew, will you come Monday? Will you come Saturday? They will be give a great appointment. Different difficulty will face. So I want my lobby and negotiation is my strategies to reach on this situation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Johan, for that great question. Like I said, we're an organization of young people between the ages of 18 and 40. Now, what we found working with the youth in my country is that young people are motivated to create change and tackle problems in their communities. But the problem is that many don't have the platform or the tools to be able to do that. So what we do as JCI, as a global movement, and what we do as JCI South Africa, is that our mission is to provide development opportunities that empower young people to create positive change. So what we'll do is we capacitate, we do trainings, and most of our target is your colleges, your universities, because we believe that if you can catch them before they get into the market and get them motivated or get them planted into doing what they're passionate about, by the time they are in the market or in active citizens in society, already they have that responsibility to do something about their community. And also what we've done also, we are a network of about 150 young people in the country. We've got about 10 local organizations. So my job as the vice president, for example, is growth and development. So I travel around the country establishing new local organizations, especially in colleges, but we also do it for young professionals as well. And we are also in the process of establishing another 5 new organizations. And then what we do is then we train them, and we don't try and change people to do what we want them to do. We get young people and ask them, what do they want to do? And then we channel them according to their passions and the kind of projects they want to do, specifically according to the needs of their communities.
Thank you very much. When it comes to youth engagement, we created a platform called I Follow the Money, where we engage youth at the grassroots level to hold their government accountable. At Follow the Money, we have 3 thematics areas, which is education, health, and water and sanitation facility. We have 3 activities, 3 primary activities that we do. We normally do visualization, tracking, and advocacy. We know that in rural communities, a lot of people cannot able to understand written, read or write. So it's very difficult for them to understand budget information or financial information. What we do is that we have to visualize the budget or financial data so that they can able to understand and interpret what is that information means. The second activity is that we are advocating for communities with the extreme need of water, health facility, or education. The third activity is tracking pond means for rural communities in Nigeria and some part of West and North Africa. We have a chapter in Gambia and we have a chapter in Kenya. Our process includes, we have the first find data. We have a data mining teams which are responsible for mining data in budget, tenders, and media announcement. They have the responsibility of listening to media. They have responsibility for finding information in budget. They have the responsibility of linking with the tender boards to find information on the fund embarked for rural communities. After we find the information, we have to go to the rural communities, where we share the information with the rural communities, engage with the community leaders and the young people to kind of engage them in the pond tracking. And we encourage them to take the full ownership of the pond tracking because it is their community. We want to empower their communities. After we have a common ground with the community, we have, in partnership with the community leaders, we have to write a letter to an implementation agency that that fund embarked by the implementation agency. After that, we have to organize, when we receive information from the implementation agency or a department, we have to organize a town hall meeting, engage all relevant stakeholders, community leaders, government, media, and other stakeholders to sit down on a table, discuss on where are we on the fund tracking, what stages are we, is the project started or not. If project started, we have to partner with the community leaders to ensure that what government provide for such that community is the same thing that community will get at the end of the project. After then, we have to, if the project is not started, we have to engage media for the advocacy, and we also engage the legislature for the full implementation of the project. We are working on also young inclusion in governance. We, in partnership with the YEGA, our organization Connected Development, run a successful campaign which called Not Too Young to Run in Nigeria, which is a age reduction bill. Initially, youth are not able to contest for political office if they don't attain the age of 35, and then they can't able to attend contest for a presidency at the age of 40. So we organize a youth in Nigeria with partnership with YEGA, where we engage and legislator to change the policy to reduce the age to 25. And also we are periodically organize a training program, which recently we organized one in the northeast Nigeria, where we engaged more than 200 youth on how to track the humanitarian fund coming to northeast due to the insurgency. Thank you.
Great. So I'd love to come back to what you both were saying about platforms, and that you both, it sounded like that platforms were a crucial part of the work that you're doing. So now that Facebook and LinkedIn and Snapchat and Instagram are now ubiquitous, and that the young and the young at heart alike are using it, this question is for the two of you as well as you, Siba. How have you utilized social media to empower and to motivate the young people that you serve? And then how have you remained current on technology trends and understanding how the youth are using it?
Thank you so much, Johan, for that question. Like I said, we're a global movement. So we have had to use social media to be able to be more visible and to also activate young people. So how we've used it, for example, is, I'll talk about currently this year, we are busy with the I Am Africa campaign. I'm sure many people have seen it on social networks, but they may not necessarily have known that it's a JCI campaign. Because it's not just, we don't only focus on just our members, we focus on young people in general to network and put them and bring them together to become the change they want to see. I'll talk about another personal project that I was responsible for, and I had to make sure it comes out. Last year I was responsible for the Peace is Possible campaign, which we also established as JCI. Now, we had to get young people on social media to actually go to the website, the Peace is Possible website, and go and sign in and pledge to become peace ambassadors in their countries. Over 5,000 young people worldwide pledged to become personal ambassadors in their countries. You don't need to be signed up to any organization. All you do is that I will make peace possible in the space that I live in. And also in the same project this year, we are also busy with the cleanup campaign, whereby all the JCI members worldwide, we have pledged on the 15th of September in commemoration of the International World Peace Day to do a cleanup campaign. We'll be cleaning all over the continent, and we've had to use media to mobilize young people all over the world to actually take part in this initiative. Thank you.
Before talking about social media, I would like to underline one of the points that she touched, which is about training. In my country, as I said earlier, I'm the president of ASTAC, American Study Teachers Association in Guinea. We use America as a model in terms of history, democracy, and education to address education, democratic, and historical needs. In our country, our history is let down, and many things are actually done because of the ignorance that we, like young people, let's say, have in terms of history. So we make sure to make a comparison in contracts. We help them know their history, go back and then check. And also we make sure to, let's say, address these civic education needs, because we know that today, one of the crucial problems in the world is democracy, it is good governance, is whatsoever. But I take civic education to be like a tree, like an apple tree, and the fruit are good governance, democracy, and all. So if we don't take care of these three, we will not give up, let's say, that this good fruit. So also about English. English is one of the challenges in my country, because if you don't speak English, I don't think you don't get job. It's compulsory for all graduates to speak English. So in order to help young guys, we opened a center called CELATI, which is in French, is a center of languages, computer, okay, which means in French, Centre d'études de langue, de traduction et d'interprétation. There we use, let's say, teachers, and we make sure that the student gets registered at a reasonable price instead of going out, because actually illegal immigration is one of the problems also in my country because of frustration, lack of quality education. Young guys think that it is better elsewhere than the country. So we keep them in the country, and then we help them speak the basic level of English, and then they can try to get a reasonable job. About the social media, as a teacher, I think it helped us a lot. First, with our center, CELATI, we make sure that we post some courses on, let's say, our Facebook group, and make sure students read it after. So it is very educational for us. Also for hashtag, we have a Facebook group. Through this Facebook group, we were able to help a lady from Turkey. She had a presentation on Guinea, and she didn't know what to do. So she went on our Facebook group, she posted, oh, please help me, I have a presentation in Guinea, please help me. I went, and we exchanged mail. From there, I started helping her. She was very happy when she presented some excellent something like that. And then finally, she was congratulated. She called me back personally and said, Siba, thank you very much. This is one of the most important part of the social media in my country. And the youth use, let's say, young people use social media as one of the networking tools to make sure to connect their friends, their community, to sensitize. If there is something happening here today, you will automatically on time see on Facebook. Because of what? Because of this importance. And actually, you don't need to go out of your house to know what is going on. If there is a strike, if there is a whatsoever, if there's a flood. So you just need to get connected and see it. But it's important to underline that Facebook also, social media, have very negative impact as a teacher, because they disorient my student. Sometimes when you are in class, while you are explaining, you will see a student online. What you are saying here, they will not pay attention. And then generally, it is very difficult to draw their attention. Also, they use this social media to change some photos which are not very good. And their education, their civic education is actually at stake. Actually, in Guinea, there's a law about social media, because there are people who post things to make people revolt. So anyone who does it, he's actually, let's say, he's actually to be sued. And it is very important to know what you are posting. So social media is very good, but in my country, sometimes it's something bad. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Social media in 21st century is our largest way of disseminating information. We use social media in disseminating information and to engage youth. Recently, what we did is that, what happened is that we have a freedom of information request letter with the Niger Delta Development Agency, which they refuse to give us the information. We just go and post it that we request information from Niger Delta Development Commission, and they denied us the information. Then the Niger Delta Development Agency blocked us from their Twitter handles. We make a lot of noise, Niger Delta, because we request for information. We, as a citizen, we have a right to ask questions. We ask questions. Niger Delta Development Agency block on their social media. Within a minute, we have more than 1,000 retweets. In less than 1 hour, they call us and apologize. We did a mistake, and we will provide you with the information. What I realized about social media is that both the legislative, executive, and the governments are in the social media. When you want to engage a government or a youth, you have to use social media because more than 70% of the youth are on social media. If you post something on social media within 8 minutes, it can reach a lot of audience. Social media is a very powerful tool for engaging youth because youths use social media without knowing what is the power of social media. You have to teach youth how to use the social media properly. You have to share your information and your ideas on social media. It can reach a lot of audience in a short time or period.
I want to stay there on that point. You and Siba both, Muazu, brought up. It's not just that you have to engage the youth on social media, but you have to be a good example for youth on social media and to show them how to use the platforms correctly. So I'd love to follow up on that. How, in your own personal experience, are you using social media, and how are you using it in a way that is a good example to the youth in your country?
Thank you so much, Johan, about that. Since I said that I'm part of GLOW Swaziland, with GLOW we sometimes have camps every year, and these camps the girls are able to then learn about pen making. They're able to learn about educational opportunities that are available out there. And then with social media, we then post all these pictures, and also we then let the world know what we are doing with the girls. And then also the girls are encouraged to get into social media, to Google and find opportunities that they can get into and become better leaders tomorrow. Thank you.
As a teacher, every day when I enter in class, I have 5 minutes to talk to my student first. It is very important about social media, mainly about how to use it. Because generally, when you are young, you may not imagine what will come in the future. You may post whatsoever you want, mainly girls. You see some girls who will make themselves and then post some photos. Those things may be an impact for them in the future when they want to become a leader, when they want to contest the presidency or whatsoever. So we make sure that that student, young guy, use social media properly by writing the full name first. It's not compulsory to write any name you want. It's very good to write, my name is Siba Koulemou. I should write Siba Koulemou, so that anyone who wants to know more about me from here in America can just get over there and know about me. If I have something, an opportunity, I may use that opportunity. But if I have something different from my profile, it will really, let's say, destroy my opportunity. And secondly, in order to address these technological needs, I registered, let's say, in a group called NESQUADE. NESQUADE is an American group. NESQUADE is a program sponsored by TechSop International. So we created NESQUADE Conakry. Actually, I'm in charge of communication. We make sure to organize training from one place to another, where young guys will come and then we expose them to the reality. That we have experts, we invite experts to come and discuss with them. So we make sure that in the future, there should be no regret. As I said earlier, the young generation are those who will lead tomorrow. We should warn them that if you don't do this one properly, it will catch you back in the future. Thank you.
Social media, how we use social media is that we have to teach young people how to use the social media. We have to kind of create a hashtag for every our campaign so that can be able to build up in the kind of within the mass number of posting. We teach youths the importance of hashtagging. When you hashtag your posting, like I want to post something about follow the money, I have a hashtag for my campaign. If I post it on platform any social media platform, when somebody wants to know about my work, he just go directly search for my hashtag. My project will be pop up. We teach youth on how to use hashtags.
Thank you so much for following up on that. My next question is for Tsehaynew. tell us more about the work you're doing in educating and training services for people with disabilities. What has been your experience in empowering children with disabilities? And what opportunities make you hopeful? And what are the challenges ahead for this movement?
Thank you, Johanna. My organization, yeah, as I mentioned, is Charity Association of Education and Training Service for Persons with Disability. But it is very long. Thanks for Presidential Precinct and Virginia of University scholars. I have get some knowledge about media and communication. When I go back to my country, I want to check my name, because when I call, even it takes 2 minutes. The name of my organization and logo and about brand, I get some knowledge from here. So I will arrange my organization name. So when I go to my organization, some activities, the main objective of my organization is creating conducive living, learning, and working environment for persons with disability. Especially, we focus on children with hearing impairment, children with visual impairment, children with intellectual disorder. Why they need a lot of attentions, especially in Africa, especially under Saharan African country, there is no any access of education, technology, and different things for persons with disability. That's why my organization is trying to give educational chance for these children with disability. We have more than 218 children with disabilities. They have a service, assistive technology supplies. We have feeding program in a school. When they come to school, we provide some tea and bread in time, in breakfast, in the rest time, because their family are poor, they have no any food, and they are even some students come to the purpose of that food. So we are giving this support for those children with disability. In another part, we have volunteers activity. We experienced with Holland, Belgium, UK, and some Americans. International volunteers received around 31 volunteers received in the past 3 years. In another hand, as we understand from my association name, we have training rooms for non-child with disability, like conflict resolution training, income generate activity trainings, and also we have a program, parent-to-parent coffee ceremony program, because the parent or person with disability are not aware about their children, even when they buy clothes and shoes for non-disabled children, their children, they do not buy for disabled children, because they recognize that disabled children is not them. It is the responsibility of international organization. So we have to improve this backward thinking through coffee ceremony training. We have this program also. In another hand, we have awareness creation campaigns in different things through radio, through brochure and pamphlets. And for the first time in Ethiopia, we published one book by 10,000 copies in Amharic. It's our national language, for history of success persons with disability in Ethiopia. Still, we had uses the success of the American Helen Keller history, as you know all. Helen Keller is a wonderful person with disability. She learned a lot of things to us. So we had to use this history only, but now we organized the local successful persons with disability history, and we are using this book for learning. When I come to the some opportunities, we have great opportunities. Before 2 years, there is no peace in my country, but now it is stable. So peace by itself is very great opportunity. The second one, the family of persons with disability try to send their children to school, we have some hopes. And the third one, great opportunity. I think to my project, it is great opportunity, even my blindness, because the family of blindness trust me and they are making hope by looking at me. Because I have a bachelor degree in education and planning. I'm working with different scholars and I have my personal own car. When they looked at me, they are taking a hope on their children. So I think, and also to make a positive influence on the government officials, I think my blindness also contributed a lot. In other hand, we have different challenges. The first one, in my country, there is low culture of voluntarism. The second challenge is unreachable criteria of donors. International donors, they have a lot of criteria. We couldn't fill that criteria. We have different achievement on our activity, but we did all activities by voluntarism. Our financial statement doesn't show a million's finance, but the donors request us the financial report more than 1 million, 2 million. So it's difficult to us to get international donors. The third one problem is negative attitude of persons, the communities about persons with disability and cause of disabilities. Still exists harmful traditional in Ethiopia. Even educated persons are not well aware about persons with disability. So it needs to work more. I think it is enough for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I have one more question before I hand it over to the community of scholars who are here today, as well as the online community on Facebook Live. My last question is from Muazu and Nombuso. What roadblocks to empowering youth have you experienced? Do you face challenges of apathy in your work?
Thank you, Johan. When I came to the school in 2013, I discovered that a lot of young people don't care about education, and they're actually afraid of thinking of being serious about education, because after all, they won't get into any university, they won't get into any college, because it's expensive to get into colleges and universities. So when I saw this, I felt like there should be something that I'm doing to help these young people. So with the help of Peace Corps volunteers, we've been able to organize career fairs for young people so that they can be able to find out what opportunities are available for them. And also for those who are not academics, we've also been able to start initiatives like fisheries and also a popcorn project in helping them learn about entrepreneurship and also be able to start their own businesses later on. I'm thinking that this is going to help them in the future. Even if they don't get into university, they're able to start their own businesses. And also, if they get into university, they still continue to be entrepreneurs, because this is very important in our country. And also, I don't think this is something that is unique to Swaziland. I think that a lot of young people are facing the same problem in other countries. And to young people out there, I would love to say that they should know that no one is waiting to save them. They should go out there and do something about their lives so that they can be better people and better leaders for tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Youth are always ready to make change in their communities, but we have a kind of mindset, and I think we are being brainwashed by age people or cultures. We are always thinking that we are leaders of tomorrow. We need some people, for young people to come and change the narrative in our communities. We have to share this with our fellow young people, that we are not the leaders of tomorrow. We are leaders. We are able to make extraordinary changes in our communities. We are doing a lot of incredible works. But young people, you may find a very talented young person, but he's thinking that he's leader of tomorrow. He can't be a leader now. He's waiting for tomorrow. I call on young people around the world to engage youth, create platform for young people to engage them, because young people are ready. And the second question is also always people asking is that when you talk about youth engagement in the politics or political process, the question is, are the youth ready? The answer is that youth are always ready. All these age people in power, they have to hire young people to do the real job for them. If they are able to hire the young age people, hire young people to do the real job for them, why not young people to be in the political positions? I call on young people around the world to engage young people. With Follow the Money experience is that at times you may be kind of dedicated to what you are doing. You may be discouraged. When we started Follow the Money, when we go to a ministry or a parastatal or a community, people see us as young people who are just hopeless. We are not able to make changes in what we are doing, but we are dedicated and focused. We make a real change. We impacted more than 50,000 communities, people in 17 communities in 2017 in Nigeria. Young people, we are ready. We have to create real platform to engage young people. Thank you.
I'm going to take the first question from Facebook Live. This one is from Godfrey in Zimbabwe. How far has South Africa gone in promoting and creating political space for young people? And I'm thinking this is for Nozipho.
Thank you so much to Godfrey in Zimbabwe. I think the one thing I appreciate about South Africa is our constitution. And it gives young people the voice, number one, to express themselves. And as a result, going back to one of the questions that we did speak about in terms of what's the movement, the youth movement in our country looking like. For example, in my country alone, we have hashtag Fees Must Fall movement. We have hashtag Roads Must Fall. We have young people speaking about economic development in our lifetime. So I think what I can safely say is we are very fortunate in terms of pushing the agenda of the youth in my country. And the youth has gotten to a point whereby they're saying we're not waiting for the elders anymore to lead us and tell us the way. We know the way. We will do what we have to do to make our country to become what we want it to be. Thank you.
With that, I'm going to take questions from our audience that are in front of us, and I see some hands here. Do we have extra microphones? So go ahead and just speak up. So the question was, how in your current context do you empower the young women that you work with in your countries?
Very good question, Daisy. First of all, as I said, I'm a teacher. Every day I enter, I have 5 minutes. Within this 5 minutes, my first and foremost advice goes always to girls. Mainly in my country, teachers always, let's say, use their power on girls. And then generally, I always tell girls, you should be ready to say no to any teacher that tells you, if you say no, I will give you 0. I start by myself. I say, where I am, I'm a teacher. I'm not your lover person. I'm here to to show you way. So you should know your right. You are not here to be a sexual instrument to anyone or any teacher, neither even the chairman. You should know wherever you go on Facebook. Facebook is the highly used social media in my country. So Facebook, in the school campus, in your community, know your right, and never bend down your head. Accept when there's any problem. Make sure you report the problem as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Danai. And in connected development, we take women empowerment very serious. We have serious of women marginalization, especially in northern Nigeria. What we are doing is that we have to work with at least 70% women in all what we are doing in order to kind of show the people that women are capable of doing extraordinary things. We engage women in such a way that people that are thinking that women are unable to do what man can do will be realized that we are going to field work. We are going to communities where you can ride a bike in a tarred road for 3-4 hours. We are going with women. We have to show the people that women are capable of doing extraordinary things. Women empowerment is very serious for our organization, and we are doing a lot of things to empower women in our communities. Then issue of girls' child education is that girls' child education is a very serious issue in Nigeria. A lot of people, girls' children are not able to enroll in the schools. In some communities, when you go, almost 95% of the communities, girl children are not enrolled to school. So if they are able to see the young girls, like 16, 17, are able to go to the community, fight for their right, they can able to send their children to school. We are directly not empowering women, but indirectly we are able to empower women so that they can be a role model to young girls to be able to empower. Thank you.
Thank you. We are here talking about empowering the next generation of leaders, and I'm happy with your presentation. You are really doing a great job. I have a question. Why are we here? We know why we are here. In addition to what we know, we are here because we had access to education. We are here, we have access to different resources like internet and social media. And in our countries, we have youth who are in the rural areas. They don't have access to education. They don't have access to internet. As you have said, I've heard you are just talking about some activities that you are conducting in towns, like Nozipho, you say that you work with youth in college. So what do you think about these people? What do you think about empowering these people who are living in rural areas? What do you think about their participation to the leadership in the country? Swami said that if poor boys cannot come to education, education must come to him. So what do you think about those people who are living in extreme poverty in rural areas?
Thank you so much, Jacques, for your question. I'll speak from my context, for example. In this program right now, there are 2 ladies that are in other cohorts that work with taking computer services to scholars in the rural areas. And those are the kind of networks we are always looking for. Because I realized one thing, we are interconnected. We won't be able to take everything to everyone. We need to connect. We need to find people that are already in these spaces that are doing that and connect with them. And those are the kind of conversations that I've started having with them. Because they, for one of them comes from my rural area where I come from in the Eastern Cape. And that's the kind of person that I want to work with to take JCI to that community and realize that maybe I'm not capacitated enough to be able to do it myself, but I can connect to somebody else who's already in that space and then create that platform for the young people in that space. Thank you.
If you listen to my presentation, we are working to empower rural communities. We do, our thematics area include health, education, and water. So we know that compared to the urban centers, rural communities are seriously marginalized. The education system, water, health facility. So we are dedicated to empower the rural communities. And also we have 2 platforms, online platform and offline platform. On our online platform, we have more than 1,800 volunteers. In our offline platform, we have 800 volunteers. When every time we need something like engaging youth, we have to call them on the phone or other means. While our online platform, we engage them through the online platforms. Thank you.
In addition to what my friends have already said about rural areas, talking about rural areas in my country is talking about me, Siba. Because I started my education in the rural area. I know what those other guys, like young guys, are undergoing over there. So I always say I do not focus on, let's say, the center, the capital city. Conakry is a capital city. There you have access to library, you have access to a lot of things. That's why with hashtag, we go in the interior. There are some university schools where young guys are highly motivated than those in the central city. It's important to go to them, work with them, help them. And that's why I even said from now to, let's say in 10 years from now, I'm ready to invest in a school where good students from interior, from the rural area, will be kept and empowered so that they can compete with those in the central city. Thank you.
And also to add on that, also we work in the rural areas. My school is in the rural areas, so we are helping girls in rural communities to actually come out and be better with just like those in urban areas.
Thank you all. We have time for one lightning round, and I'm going to take a question from Facebook Live for this lightning round. So in one or two sentences, each of you get to answer the question. What advice would you have for anyone facing setbacks for youth when they're not, when they're trying to step up, but they're finding their voice is being stymied?
They have to focus and determine on what they are doing. They have to consider setback as a kind of test. If they have to overcome that test, they'll be able to become successful in life. Because I started as a volunteer, I faced a lot of challenges, I had a lot of setbacks, but here I am.
Thanks, Johan. People always come and say, wow, you're an overnight success. There is no such thing. It's just that it takes many years, many closed doors, many knocks, many doors, many rejections. And I would encourage young people, don't give up. Don't give in. Know who you are, know your voice, and you will get no's, and you will get a lot of them. But if you know what you want, and you know what kind of impact you want to make, keep knocking. And when people come and say overnight successes, no, those people have been digging and knocking for many, many years. Thank you.
In addition to all those, let's say, what my friends have already said, this question is me again. You know, I was an orphan when I was in 6th grade. I lost my mother. In 8th grade, I lost my father. From that time until the end of my study, I took everything in charge for myself. So, that means in life, if you want to do something, know your goal. It's very important. And if you know your goal, whatsoever you do, you will succeed in life. We started Silati with 0 francs. 0 francs. We had nothing. I left everything. I make sure to sensitize, to talk to people. And I was obliged to use some time to get money from people to pay some teachers. And today we have a very good budget. And whatsoever you want to do in life, set up your goal, target your goal, make sure you reach it. Thank you.
I also wanted to add that the road to success is never easy. You have to and you will face some setbacks, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. But you have to try to do something for yourself and for your future. Thank you.
Can I? Okay. Okay. For me, I have advice because, as I mentioned before, we published one success history of the persons with disability. Non-persons with disability users have learned from us. We are persons with disability, but we are doing a lot. But in my country, in all Africa, a lot of users are without job. They are going to be hopeless. So they have learned from us. If any person, if have mind, it can do anything. So my principle and my advice is we can. Thank you.
With that, let's thank our panelists. Thank you all to the people here at Highlands and to our wonderful community of scholars, as well as those online. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to make a note that our next MWF Live discussion will be on Tuesday, July 10th at Thomas Jefferson, at James Madison's Montpelier, on the topic of protecting the rights of marginalized people. With that, thank you.